Good afternoon, Your Honor. Again, my name is T.Reisinger here for the Attorney General's Division of Consumer Counsel. I appreciate you allowing us the opportunity to participate in this hearing. This is, in our opinion, an important case. The Commission has received over 7,000 public comments on its docket as of last week. This morning we heard from at least 19 public witnesses who took time out of their day, took off time from school to come here to speak with you. And by my count, most, if not all, of those public witnesses expressed some concern with the company's future plans to develop renewable energy, with their plans to develop nuclear power, or with their plans to invest in future energy efficiency resources. And I want to note that all of those public witnesses who came here today, who reviewed the plan and wanted to offer comment, all of those public witnesses had to evaluate the plan without access to information such as the company's forecasted construction expenditure data, which shows how much the company plans to spend on new nuclear and new fossil fuel units versus new renewable units. Those witnesses evaluated the plan without access to the company's generation cost assumptions. Those witnesses evaluated the company's plan without access to the company's commodity price forecasts, which the company uses to justify its plan. So the issue of confidentiality, as I said in remarks earlier, is very important to us. I understand that the Commission has directed that we will not receive argument on that point at this time, so I will refrain from doing so. And with regard to the plan, Consumer Counsel understands that the Commission has said that an IRP is only a snapshot in time, and it's not a commitment to build any particular resource. So I'm only going to mention three substantive issues that we have with the plan. The first issue I'd like to address is market purchases and capacity. Consumer Counsel has expressed concern in Dominion's last IRP case that the company's plan proposed to almost completely phase out market purchases of capacity over the planning period. And this is still the company's plan today. Dominion proposes to completely phase out market purchases of capacity over the planning period. We continue to believe that it is reasonable for the company to secure some percentage of its capacity for market purchases as a part of a diverse portfolio. And although an IRP is not a commitment to pursue any particular capacity resource, the 2013 General Assembly made amendments to the Electric Regulation Act, and those amendments now direct that a utility seeking approval to construct a generating facility, quote, shall demonstrate that it has considered and weighed alternative options, including third-party market alternatives, in its selection process. So we hope that the company will meaningfully consider and weigh such alternative market options prior to requesting approval to construct or acquire additional company-owned generation capacity. And Your Honor, the second issue I'd like to touch on is rate design. Consumer Counsel filed the direct testimony of Scott Norwood in this case. Mr. Norwood addressed the company's alternative residential rate design study. In its final order in Dominion's 2011 IRP case, the Commission directed that, quote, in future IRPs, rate design options should be modeled by the company, for example, to analyze how alternative rate designs may impact demand and the plans to meet demand, particularly given Dominion's commitment to meeting the Commonwealth's 10% energy reduction goals. And the 2013 General Assembly also told the company to study issues of rate design in its 2013 IRP, specifically directing Dominion to address the appropriateness of its declining block rate structure during the non-summer months. Mr. Norwood expresses several concerns that he has with the residential rate design analysis conducted by the company. And Mr. Norwood also states his opinion that he does not believe that the company has adequately justified its use of the declining block structure during the non-summer months. Mr. Norwood recommends that the company should be required to expand its analysis of a flat winter rate structure, as well as other potential rate design alternatives, to replace its existing residential winter declining block rate. Mr. Norwood suggests that the company should present those results in the next base rate case. And Your Honor, the final issue I'd like to touch on is the company's fuel diversity plan. Mr. Norwood also discusses in his direct testimony the company's proposal to go forward with a least cost base plan while simultaneously going forward with a higher cost fuel diversity plan. And first, in our experience, it is somewhat unusual for a utility to propose in its integrated resource plan to press forward simultaneously with two very different plans. I will also note that the fuel diversity plan, in our opinion, effectively means a North Anna 3 plan. And this is because a significant percentage of the development expenditures associated with the, quote, reasonable development efforts, unquote, of the fuel diversity plan are earmarked for North Anna 3. And the exact percentage of capital expenditures that is earmarked for the nuclear project is referenced in staff witness Abbott's testimony. It's a big percentage, but it has been designated by the company as extraordinarily sensitive information, so I can't mention it here. And I also want to point out that during the public testimony, the commission heard from Mr. Walter from Sutherland Middle School in Charlottesville, and Mr. Walter stated his opinion that it would cost Dominion $14 billion to build a new nuclear unit. I don't know whether that number is accurate, but that's a significant expenditure. And as Mr. Norwood testifies in his direct testimony, Dominion's plan proposes to go forward with a nuclear construction plan that is higher cost, and it's higher cost based on the company's own scenario analysis, proposes to go forward with this higher cost plan as in addition to going forward with the base plan. So what this means is that based on all the company's own modeling, taking into account all of Dominion's extraordinarily sensitive commodity price forecasts and all of the company's extraordinarily sensitive generation cost assumptions, taking into account all this information, the company's own numbers show that the North Anna 3 fuel diversity plan is significantly more costly than the base plan. In other words, if all of the company's forecasts turn out to be accurate, the North Anna 3 fuel diversity plan would not be cost effective. And Your Honor, I want to make clear for the record that the Consumer Council has never suggested that the company should not pursue this project, and we've never expressed any opposition as a matter of policy to the development of additional nuclear capacity. However, in the event that North Anna 3 is not built, the record in this case could become relevant in a future prudence review. If the plan is not built because the company later determines that it is not economic to do so, and the company later seeks to recover costs of the project from its customers, we hope that the company will consider, we hope that the commission will consider the record in this case in any future prudence review. Thank you for your time, Your Honor.